And joining us now with more on the war with Iran and potential U.S. involvement is Professor Udi Sommer, head of the Scientific Council of the Center for the Study of the United States at Tel Aviv University. Thank you for joining us.
Pleasure to be here.
So a report from the Wall Street Journal says that the president has approved military plans for a strike, but is waiting to give the green light. I mean, what is he waiting for? Why the hesitation on his part?
My understanding is that you're missing a preposition there. It's not approving plans, it is approving of plans. And this word is critical. So the president really has some pretty hard choices here. He has pretty hard choices to make with respect to the military dimensions. So is the bunker buster going to do the job? Is it going to be a short war? Is America going to become embroiled in another Middle East conflict, which is the last thing that anybody in America, and certainly nobody in the Republican Party, wants to see happening, or even worse, right? I mean, this whole thing is very combustible. There's a few millions of oil barrels on which the whole conflict is unfolding, or over which the whole conflict is unfolding, and you certainly don't want to see that turning into flames and turning potentially into a third world war. So those kind of problems and those kind of issues are really troubling for the president from a military perspective, but there's also the political perspective. So, okay, assuming that the military maneuver is able to achieve the goal of eliminating the nuclear program, what's next about the regime? Do you keep the regime? Is the regime going to be toppled even if you don't try to? And in that case, if you do regime change, or if you try to do nation building, these are issues that the Americans are staying away from. They're very, very worried about the idea that in the Middle East, a 90 million strong population of Iran will be left with no regime. And it's also important to remember that it's not just Iran. There's 45 million people living in Iraq, which is largely stabilized a lot due to Iranian involvement. So this level of instability in such a volatile and combustible region makes the decision very complicated, not just at the military level, but also at the political and the geostrategic levels.
So very a complex situation, of course, and these are the factors or considerations that he's weighing now. But what kind of a timeline are we looking at? You know, Israel has said the IDF could complete the operation within a week or two. And so Trump is expected to make his decision soon. There's a lot of analysts saying it could happen at any moment. But how much longer can or will Israel wait until Trump makes his decision?
Israel made the Israeli so there's two, I guess, at least two major levels at which decisions are made in Israel, okay? So the decision tree was largely planned by the professionals of the Israeli national security apparatus, whether it's the Mossad, whether it's the various national security agencies, whether it's the Air Force, and other branches of the military. And this has seemed to be working, you know, exceptionally well. But that's not an end game, right? The end game is always political, even when it comes to wars. It's never, what happens on the battlefield is extremely important, but that's not the last stage. The last stage is the political arrangements that unfold as a result, or that emerge from this, from what happened on the battlefield. And here, the Israeli government is increasingly dependent on what happens in Washington, D.C. So Israel, or Jerusalem, is really limited by what the American government is, what the Trump administration is willing to go ahead with. So even if there were some brilliant military moves here, and indeed there were, I mean, people around the world are amazed, are shocked, are almost perplexed by the ability of the Israeli military and the Israeli Air Force to conduct such successful operations. Okay, even if that is the case, and it is indeed the case, at the end of the day, the Israeli cabinet, the Israeli decision makers will have to bring that to an end, and then. And there, I mean, I'm not sure that they can impose any type of timeline on the U.S. administration. I mean, you know, at the end of the day, we work for the Americans. It's not the other way around. And therefore, as much as time may be of the essence for all Israelis, you know, we've seen some horrible scenes in Israel today. I mean, this morning and over the past 5.5 days, there's still hostages, 53 hostages held in Gaza. So in many ways, you know, the time is of the essence, but that's from the Israeli perspective. From the American perspective, remember, the current administration, one of their key slogans is America first, and they mean it when they say it.
Absolutely. So, you know, all eyes remain on U.S. President Donald Trump to see what he will decide to do, if he will greenlight the U.S. involvement or not. Professor Udi Sommer, thank you so much for joining us today and for your insights.
My pleasure. Keep safe.